Hello, everyone. I can see people joining in gradually, but it's 6 p.m. already here in London. So thank you all for joining us today. My name is Marina Sidwell-Kutumova. I am a managing partner and client advisor of Ascot Advisory Group. Today, I'm joined by our special guest and our on-the-ground partner, Kleanthis Sokratos from PL Group. Kleanthis is based in Cyprus, and in today's webinar, I will be having an interactive Q&A session with him based on the most frequently asked questions that we receive from our clients about Cyprus Golden Visa. Before we get into Cyprus, though, I want to give you a brief overview of who we are, what we do, and what's happening across the investment migration landscape right now. One more thing, please do feel free to submit your questions at any time during the webinar. We welcome all sorts of questions, about any investment migration program, but this webinar is about Cyprus, so we will address them at the end of the session. So Ascot Advisory is a London-based boutique investment migration advisory firm. We help our clients secure second citizenships, golden visas, and we also provide long-term mobility strategies. What sets us apart from most advisory firms in the space is our background. Before founding Ascot Advisory, both my co-founder James Pryor and I worked for various governments around the world, reviewing citizenship and residency by investment applications, both in Europe and in the Caribbean. So essentially, we know how these applications are assessed, what triggers additional scrutiny, and what makes the difference between an approval and a delay. So we know the process inside out. And this perspective shapes every piece of advice we give. And although we are headquartered in London, we work with clients based all over the world, so the UK, USA, the Middle East, CIS countries, and beyond. So if you're exploring your options for the first time, it's worth understanding the two main categories. Citizenship by investment gives you a passport, full citizenship of another country in exchange for investment. That means visa-free travel on that passport to eligible jurisdictions, the right to pass citizenship to your children, and a permanent status that doesn't need renewing. Processing is typically fast, 3 to 6 months on average in many cases, and there is usually no requirement to live in the country. Residency by investment, often called Golden Visa, gives you the right to live in the country, but you remain a foreign national. There is a path to citizenship eventually via naturalization. So the two paths aren't mutually exclusive, and increasingly what we are seeing clients doing is layering both. That layered approach is one of the defining trends we're seeing in 2026, actually. So let me briefly walk you through the main citizenship by investment programs currently available. As you can see on the slide, these are all the citizenship by investment programs that we work with, and the Caribbean remains perhaps one of the most established leaders. There are 5 active programs in the Caribbean, and the investment usually starts from around 200,000 US dollars, and processing takes 3 to 6 months. Beyond the Caribbean, Sao Tome and Principe, which was launched about 6 months ago, with a starting point for the investment at 90,000 US dollars and only 2 months processing time. Obviously, Sao Tome is positioning itself as a very competitive new entrant. Now, on the residency side, again, as you can see on the slide, these are the programs that we also work with. The European Golden Visa market offers several compelling options, including Portugal, Greece, Malta, and of course, Cyprus, which Cleanthis will cover in detail shortly. Each program serves a different strategic purpose, and our role at Ascot Advisory is to help you identify which combination best fits your personal circumstances, family structure, and long-term goals. Now, before I move on to the most exciting part of this webinar, which is obviously the Q&A session with Cleanthis, I want to leave you with a sense of where the market is headed at the moment, because the investment migration industry is maturing in ways that benefit clients. So recent data suggests that more than 165,000 millionaires are expected to change their tax residency by the end of 2026. And that is the highest number ever recorded in the investment migration, and which indicates that investment migration is no longer niche. It's becoming a core component of wealth planning for globally mobile families and generally clients. And like I mentioned before, we are seeing new programs coming onto the market like Sao Tome and Principe, which only launched a few months ago. So that's the landscape of the industry and a short overview of what we provide in terms of our services and the programs that we work with. Now let's get into one of the most exciting parts of the webinar. It's our interactive Q&A session with Cleanthis, where I will be asking him the frequently asked questions about the Cyprus Golden Visa program. Thank you so much for joining us today, Cleanthis. So you are based in Cyprus full time. You live in Paphos, and I would like to start this conversation by actually asking you, what are you actually seeing on the ground right now? Is the demand from abroad real? You're on mute.
Hi everyone, thanks Marina for having me today. As you said, I'm here on the ground in Cyprus. I'm here in the market daily. I work directly with the clients through every stage of the process, from the first conversation all the way to the moment they hold their residency permit in their hands. Um, Coming back to your question, yes, the demand is getting more and more every day. We see a lot of demand from UK nationals, but at the same time, middle across Middle East, I would say, and South Africa, USA, about the Cyprus permanent residency. The reasons are many. We're gonna talk about it in a bit
Cool.
depth later on. But yes,
Well, that is exciting. It's exciting to hear, isn't it? Now I'd like to move on to the frequently asked questions that we receive. And I would like to start with questions about the program and the process itself. So could you walk us through the program in its simple terms? What does the first step actually looks like, and what is the realistic timeline from first conversation that we have with clients to having residency approved?
yes, very good question. I would say the first step is always a conversation. What we do, we sit down with the client, virtually or in person, depends on the case, understand what the client actually wants to achieve. Is it EU access? Is it tax planning? Is it a family base, a retirement plan, or all of the above? It depends. Once we understand the goal, we identify the right investment and the right structure, and we guide the client through every single step. Nobody's left figuring this out alone, because I can understand how those things, how overwhelming can be. And of course, that's the whole point of having someone on the ground to assist them.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's essential, isn't it? And that gives clients additional reassurance in terms of the whole process. So, thank you for that. So, another question that obviously we get, and that's the starting point of any conversation. What are the investment options?
There is the investment options. There are the real estate option through a real estate investment or through a company, through investing in a company. The minimum investment through the real estate is 300,000 euros. And the same amount you can invest it in a company, but it needs to be active company with minimum 5 employees.
Okay.
So it depends what the client would like to choose. Usually, clients go with the real estate investment option because they have the asset. Even though there are some others, they want the company setup, which is also feasible. So it really depends on the clients.
Sure. So you mentioned the real estate route and based on that route. So can clients rent their property? So if they go for the real estate route and invest into property, can they rent it out and still keep their residency?
Great question. Yes. And this is one of the most powerful aspects of this program. You can rent out your property out, earn the income from it, and your residency remains completely fine. Um, so that's from the like key points of the Cyprus permanent residency. So many of our clients treat this as a genuine real estate investment. The same time with the EU residency, it's a great combination, I would say.
Sure, sure. And so again, another question, right? That's, talking about renting the property out and not losing your residency permit in Cyprus. Um, could you tell us a little bit about the return on investment? So what's the average rate?
Return on investment, it kind of vary. And why I'm saying this because it depends on the location someone is investing. So depends on the location and the quality. It can vary from 5% to 6, 7%. But the return on investment at the moment in Cyprus is growing very fast. So yes, I would say from 5 to 7%, but it depends location and quality.
Well, I mean, it sounds like a good deal, isn't it? Because you get the permanent residency plus property, and you can rent it out and not lose your residency permit. But so do you actually have to live in Cyprus to maintain your residency permit?
Um, Genuinely one of the best quality of life destinations like in Cyprus is also one of those reasons that you don't have to leave. Some people they don't choose to live in Cyprus. Uh, so the program allows you and it gives you the option to choose to be able to be in Cyprus or not to be. There is no requirement to be in Cyprus, but you have to be once every 3 years just to keep the residency active. But other
Okay,
than
so
that,
just a visit.
yes, just a visit.
Okay. I mean, why not, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Um, but what happens if, let's say, if the client wants to sell the property, does this mean that they would lose their residency?
Oh, that's a bit, I would say this one is a bit tricky. Now, this with the property. What happened? If the client want to to sell the property, he can lose the residency unless he replace the property with another qualified property. So I will say if the client sell the property, the one who bought the residency with,
Mhm.
there is a big risk to lose the residency. So the way that you can maintain like the residency is if you sell the property, you replace it with another one.
Yeah.
So this way you can have the residency and be completely fine.
Okay, yeah, so that's a requirement of the program is to keep some sort of property if
Yes.
you sell it. But there is an option to sell the property and perhaps acquire a different one and still keep the residency. Yeah.
Yes, yes, because for example, for some reason, the client decided that he needs a new property or a different one. So there is option to replace it. So yeah, but not to sell it completely and may keep the residency. That's not allowed.
Okay, yeah, that clarifies it, I think. So that basically covers the main points about the program and about the process of the Golden Visa program in Cyprus. Now, another important topic that, we get asked questions about all the time is the tax angle, right? And what tax looks like on the ground in Cyprus. So could you tell us a bit more about the real tax advantages of becoming a tax resident in Cyprus?
Marina, they are significant. And for a UK national in particular, because I meet a few UK nationals lately, uh, it's really getting more and more interesting. Why? You start with a zero tax on dividends, zero tax on capital gains, zero inheritance tax, corporate tax as low as 15% from the lowest ones in European in Europe. And if you qualify for non-dom status, the benefits go even further. So for someone who's been paying UK tax rates, their entire life, this is completely different financial landscape, I would say.
Sure. So you mentioned the non-dom status, and you said if you qualify. So how does the non-dom status actually work, and who qualifies for it?
Yes, the non-dom status in Cyprus means you pay zero tax on dividend and interest income for 17 years.
That's
Uh, and it's really attractive for especially for entrepreneurs who want to relocate their company or to open their company here in Cyprus. It gives them the option to have 0% on dividend for the first 17 years.
fantastic. And so, I, one of the most attractive points as well of the program is the 60-day rule for the tax residency, right? So again, the question that we get asked a lot, is about the 60-day rule. I mean, it almost sounds too good to be true. So could you explain how it works in practice?
Yes, it is real, it is legal, and it's one of the most attractive features of the Cyprus tax system. You can become a tax resident by spending just 60 days in the country within a calendar year. So in 1 year, you can spend 60 days and consider tax resident in Cyprus. But needs to provide it that you don't spend more than 183 days in single other country.
Okay. Yeah.
So you're not tax residents elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I,
So because and why this is so attractive and it sounds as good as you mentioned before, because Most of the countries require 183 days, the minimum, to be able to consider as a tax resident. So Cyprus requires 60 for entrepreneurs, investors, and in general, global mobile professionals, I would say. And this changed everything in this tax
Yeah,
system.
I mean it's really impressive. And I mean we work with different Golden Visa programs around Europe, right? But none of them actually offers the 60-day rule. So that's definitely one of the selling points I would say for Cyprus, that's for sure. So, and again, so we also often get asked if our clients can keep their foreign bank accounts and assets while being a Cyprus tax resident. Is that right? Like, can they do that?
Yeah, this is possible. It depends on each case, but it is possible, yes.
Okay. But I mean, so that's again, that's a good thing because obviously most of the clients that we work with have international sort of lifestyle, so that's an important thing to
Yeah,
take into.
definitely.
So I would say that's it with regard to tax angle, unless there is anything else you'd like to mention.
You covered me with your questions. I think we covered the whole.
Sure. So now let's talk about lifestyle. And I think that's also, quite important for people if they're considering full-on relocation. So you live there, you live in Paphos. So could you tell us a little bit more, what does the lifestyle actually look like for expats in Cyprus?
Yeah. Genuinely, because I've been traveling around the last few months, I will say it's genuinely one of the best quality of life destinations in Europe. And I say that living here, not from a brochure. Uh, Over 320 days of sunshine a year. Incredibly safe and consistently one of the lowest crime rates in the EU. English spoken everywhere, excellent private healthcare, strong international schools, whether it's sometimes about families is a really important thing, the good schooling. So very strong international schools, and they are getting more and more. I will say you have a world-class restaurants. The food here is amazing, uh, and good marinas, Limassol, Ayanapa, a thriving tech. The tech business community is growing so fast with NVIDIA speaking about Cyprus lately, and you're still just 4 hour flight from London. So
Yeah.
people come expecting here a trade-off. They arrive and realize there isn't one. So
That's an interesting point about NVIDIA, actually. That's going to be a huge development if they proceed with that. Um, so thank you for that. And I am curious to hear
yeah.
what surprises people most when they actually move there.
How quickly it feels like home, I will say. From personal experience, meeting clients which just came here, I will not even say a year, I will say 5 months, 6 months, and how quickly it feels like home to them. Uh, like most of the clients tell me within the first few months that they wish they have done this sooner, uh, because it's really not easy for people to make the move. It takes some time. But yeah, one another thing I will say that surprises people is how smooth the process is when you have the right people around you, and this is very important because I see a lot of people on the Facebook being overwhelmed, asking a lot of questions, and so on. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. And Now, I would, I think we can round it up at this point with all the questions. I can see some questions coming through. But the last one that I have also, from my side. So what are the biggest mistakes people make when starting this process without proper guidance?
Sorry, 1 second. Let me let me find them as well. So we have the which question, Marina?
So we have a question. So what's the main investing in the Cypriot program and what is the main reason for delays? So I suppose the question is about the investment options. What is the main investment option in this Cypriot program?
Oh, the main investment option is the minimum of 300,000 euros in the real estate.
In the real estate, but you can also invest into business.
Of course, you can also invest the same money into a company, which is mentioned before for someone maybe who join after now. So there is two routes: investing in the real estate, 300,000 euros, and then investing in a company who's active and has the minimum amount of 5 employees. So those two routes, but I will say the real estate route is the one we get the most. Um, let's say interest from the clients.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Another question is about the title deeds. So they've seen a lot of horror stories online about title deed issues in Cyprus, properties stuck for years without transfer. How common is this still, and how do buyers actually protect themselves?
Yes. I will be very honest on that question because yeah, the title deeds stories they can be true, but the reasons behind it is usually because people move make the move without having the right advisors or choosing the right qualified properties and making the proper due diligence before they make the move. So it really depends about the title deeds. And I will say you can have a property in Cyprus, full title deeds with zero problems. So with the right advisors, I'm confident you can have zero problems. And it's a question I also very often get asked because it's something that make the people worried a bit. But what's the honest answer about it is usually the people who have this kind of problem uh, maybe they get a property a lot cheaper, for example, and they didn't ask themselves back then why this is so cheap. So again, with the right advisors, you can avoid those complications 100%.
Yes, fantastic. Thank you for clarifying that. I think that's really, really important for people to hear. And so there is another question. So the 300,000 euro investment, is that all in number, or are there legal fees and government costs on top of that?
Yeah, so there is no any on top fees. It's 300 plus VAT, and it depends on the agreements and the how it will work. There is no any other costs.
Sure. Fantastic. So I can see another comment in the chat. So someone's read that some advisors or agents actually have a stake in the developments they recommend, obviously a conflict of interests. How do you make sure the properties you work with are actually in the client's best interest?
Yes, very good question. For example, us on the ground here. we never give the option to the client. We never give one option to the clients. So we have a trusted partners and we let the client choose which one they're going to work with. So we will never give one option in terms of a client. We will always give two, three options. Uh, let the client proceed with which one.
Yeah. So basically, I think, yeah, it's very important to say that what we do is we don't have any, biasness in terms of the properties that we can, propose to our clients. And
Yes.
we will follow the interest. So whatever the clients are interested in, we will then be able to recommend based on that. Um, so another question. So how is the process and what time taken for biometrics in Cyprus?
So the the, the residency once your application is approved, you must travel to Cyprus within 1 year to complete the biometrics. And this is another very good question. Um, the residency permit it can take 30 to 40 days to produce after biometric submission, and then is once it's issued, uh, is renewable every 10 years. So you travel, you do your biometrics in roughly 30 to 40 days. You get your card, and the card is renewable every 10 years.
Yeah, and I mean, even by the 10-year point, you might even be eligible to apply for citizenship, right? So you might even go for naturalization at that point.
Yes, is so true. So this is about the naturalization. So someone who's coming in Cyprus for the residency and get the PR, the permanent residency, after 5 years, he's eligible to apply for citizenship. This is another very important key thing about the Cyprus program.
Yeah. So there is another question. Apart from property, is there a real need for integration into Cyprus society for citizenship? If yes, what is the requirement? So talking about citizenship, obviously we started this conversation. Is there a real need for integration into the Cypriot society?
Yes, and this is really important question that comes up a lot. Um, yes, is real integration requirement for citizenship. The residency permit itself has no integration requirements, but if you want eventually to convert that into a Cypriot passport, you need to genuinely live there and integrate. Uh, that's the difference.
Okay, I hope that answers the question. If there are any more questions with regard to that topic, please do feel free to submit those. So yeah, there is a comment saying that someone's friend said the whole process felt very guided and straightforward, which honestly is what made me think it seriously. I'm hoping to relocate within the next 6 months, so the timing lines up well. Yeah, I mean, this is great to hear. Uh,
Yes, very nice to hear.
So please do feel free, to get in touch after the webinar, and we will arrange, a follow-up consultation call, which is a complimentary consultation call, and where we will be able to learn about your circumstances, your needs, your situation, and essentially what your goals are in terms of the Cypriot Golden Visa program. There is another question. What is the investor profile you are seeing recently and the main motivator?
What is there?
What is the investor profile you are seeing recently and what is their main motivator?
Yeah, I will say usually investment profile it's entrepreneurs, families, and people who want to retire. So it really Cyprus attracts a bit of everyone for different reasons. And I will say families, as we say, good schooling, good healthcare system, and then we have the favorable tax system, which is gonna attract entrepreneurs, but at the same time, people who want to retire and they're fed up paying huge amount of taxes. So it really covers all a bit of everyone at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. And something that I'd like to add here as well is that what we're seeing, for example, from our clients in the UK is, motivation exactly about that. The retirement planning, the tax optimization, structuring, and wealth structuring, and obviously Cyprus provides a very a very positive environment for all those goals. With non-dom changes in the UK, we're increasingly seeing people willing to relocate and plan their retirement abroad. And one of the ways, so that there is actually a whole sort of, taxation process that is important to take into account when considering this. And we do have, tax advisors that we work with. And obviously, we will be happy to work with your own tax advisors if you have your team of advisors. But equally, we're happy to provide our own. And that's, it's part of our service. And it helps us to make sure that you are walking away with the best possible deal for your circumstances. So now there is another question. What are the fees? Even approximate is fine by Passport Legacy as a guideline for Golden Visa application to be processed by a firm.
Yes, there is no additional fees as we mentioned before, unless the client going to do the entire, let's say, work with through our firm on the ground here in Cyprus. Uh, so I would say the 300,000 plus VAT, and then it depends on the client what type of services we would like, because it really depends. Some clients want to open a bank account with us, with our assistant, open a company. So it really depends. Of course, when service is added, then the money will go, the charges will go up. But if we are talking about the residency, is the 300 plus the VAT.
Okay. Yeah. Um, I don't think there are any other questions coming in. So perhaps to perhaps to conclude, um, is so if someone is almost, if someone is almost convinced about the Cypriot Golden Visa program, what's the one thing that you'd say will get them off the line?
Very, very interesting question, Marina. Um, if someone thinking about it, get in touch. There is very simple and straightforward process, and as we see already from our clients, is very smooth. We're here on the ground as well, happy to assist. So make the move, and we will handle the rest, I would say.
Yeah, fantastic. And I think that's a good way to round it up. From my side, I just wanted to mention that we are here also, Ascot Advisory, and you can see on the screen my details. And if you have any questions, please do feel free to reach out. You can also scan the QR code. Actually, I can see that there is another question that's just popped through. And another one. So I think we can squeeze in more questions for sure. So can you put a property in your children's name to give them a foothold in Cyprus and out of the UK?
Uh, well, you can. What do you mean? You can put. the property under your children's name.
Yeah, so I think the question here, I think the main thing here is the tax regulation, I suppose. So now it is possible to put the property in the children's name. It would be like a sponsored sort of application, but um, to qualify for the tax residency, you would need to actually, stay there for at least 60 days.
Yeah, so the residency, as the permanent residency Golden Visa program, is completely different from the tax residency, just to clear those things, to make sure it's clear. Now, in terms of having the property under your kid's name, um, you can apply for the residency and you can include the whole family under the residency. So then you can choose if the property is going to be under which name. So it's possible to register the house under maybe your children name.
Yeah, sure. I think they've just clarified, saying that they meant in terms of residency for dependents.
Yes.
So I think you basically answered that anyway. Another question. So, what are the most common reasons applications are delayed or rejected?
Hmm. Uh,
I think one of the reasons why applications can be delayed is, and I mean, we see it across the board, across different programs, right? Is where the source of funds is perhaps not prepared, and it takes longer to organize it from the client side sometimes. So that's one of the reasons why we see delays happening, but I wouldn't say it's because of the program in Cyprus itself. It's more of like dependent on the personal circumstances, really.
yes, so true, Marina. So the delay sometimes is also depends of how responsible the client is with providing the documents. So I will say yes, it really depends also on the client. In terms now of delays, here on the ground, we don't see delays. It's 4 to 6 months, but again, it depends also on the clients, and especially as you mentioned about the source of funds. That's where sometimes there is a delay, but of course, we try our best to make it smooth and uh, as fast as possible, I would say.
Yeah. And have you actually come? So I haven't actually had any cases of rejection. Have you come across that?
Never had any rejection, but as I told you before, with the right advisory, you can avoid any complications because even though there is possibilities to have complications, with the right advisory, you can avoid any kind of complications.
I think like what we talked about earlier, the title deeds and choosing the right advisor and the right consultancy and people on the ground. I think that's very, very important. So that perhaps could be another reason for delay. But like Leanthus mentioned, he's our on the ground partner in Cyprus, and we're able to provide the end-to-end support. So you can actually go to Cyprus, you can view the properties and visit Cyprus, and as part of that package, there is a special offering if you want to mention this, Leanthus.
Yes, of course. So basically, whoever is ready to move or thinking to make the move, I strongly recommend to get in touch with Marina, and Marina will be able to explain you guys more how we handle from the first day on the ground. We welcome our clients. We take them step by step. step by step, are including everything from A to Z, literally, and I'm sure, and we will be happy to do it very soon.
For sure. And so there is another question. Does residency via investment allow the investor to work in the EU?
So, in this, the residency in Cyprus, it gives you the right to live, study if it's about your kids, and open a company. It does not automatically give you the right to work. It's like Greece. It gives you the right to stay. You can live forever in Cyprus. You can also take your kids, children's to the school, but it does not automatically give you the right to work. But you can open a company, of course. So it depends on what's the goal.
Yeah, I suppose so. It depends on the circumstances. Again, in some cases, it might be worth investing into the business route instead of the property, although the property route would allow you to establish a business as well. So, yeah, it's just a matter of having that, consultation call where we would be able to learn about your needs, your goals, your situation, and based off that, we will then be able to provide a comprehensive solution based specifically on your needs. Um, Someone's saying, really useful session. Is there a way to book a one-to-one after this? I have some questions around the tax side, specifically coming from the UK, so want to understand the non-dom situation properly. Absolutely. So, as you can see on the screen, please do feel free to get in touch via email or WhatsApp directly. You can scan the QR code, and my contact will be saved automatically on your phone. And then we will arrange the consultation that will focus on the tax side as well. So we can provide that advice for sure. And we can start the process almost immediately. If you're ready tomorrow, we'll start tomorrow.
Amazing. So, do we have any other questions, Marina?
I am just having a look if there is any more. I don't think there are.
I just saw one question, Gabrielle Baker. I just saw it now. Hi, I mean in terms of residency for dependents.
Yeah, so we'll address this question actually, because that was about the property in your children's name, if they can give them foothold in Cyprus and out of the UK.
We already answered that. Yes. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure we didn't miss any question. Um, yes. Okay, any other questions?
I I don't I think that's it. I think that is all. I think this was an informative session. I hope it was an informative session. But if you do have more questions, if you do have any other questions that maybe we have left unanswered, or we just didn't have that question, please do feel free to reach out. And I mean, we obviously welcome any questions and any inquiries after the session. And I want to say special thank you to Cleanthis for being part of this webinar as our special guest. Like I said, Cleanthis is our partner on the ground in Cyprus, and it's essential that we have people on the ground like Cleanthis so that we can provide the highest possible quality of service.
My pleasure, Marina. Thanks for hosting me and happy to assist anyone who's looking or thinking about making the move uh, from here on the ground and hope to hear back from you soon with some good news.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, and thank you for everyone who has joined the session. And I hope we will hear from some of you. And please have a good rest of your day, wherever you are based in the world, or perhaps a good rest of your evening. And that's it for today. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye bye.